Hello and welcome to my first video. I am Midhorsey and I like to read. I am starting with books that I read as a child for this channel, and I'm sure I'll branch out to ones that I didn't or ones that are new, but for now I'm going to stick with stuff I already have because I'm poor and I can't buy any more books right now. So we'll just take from my bajillion book stash. I am beginning with Into the Wild by Aaron Hunter, which is the first book in the Warriors series, and it was one of my favorite series as a kid, and I wanted to help others enjoy it, so I'm doing a recap kind of thing, and I also wanted to show off my insane drawings of some of the cats. So let me know at the end or in the middle or whenever if you prefer that I use my goofy insane drawings or just the wiki drawings from this book, because they look way better than mine, but that's okay. Before I get into the recap, I realize that some people actually probably haven't read this book or this series, and if I don't talk about the world building, it's going to be very confusing. There's a lot of characters in this book and the whole series, and a lot of things going on. So basically, there are 5 clans, and 4 of them are living. One of them is the Afterlife cats, and they are called Thunder Clan, Shadow Clan, River Clan, Wind Clan, and Star Clan. Star Clan is where cats go after they die, and they are the clan that guides the leaders of the clans and the medicine cats through hard times, basically. So you hear about them sometimes. Thunder Clan is the group of cats that is the main character's home, and they live in a forest. Then Shadow Clan, I always thought that they lived deep in the forest too, but there's not very many trees, so they live up, I guess, north-ish from the Thunder Clan camp. And then to the east is River Clan, and they have a river that goes through and they catch a lot of fish. And then Wind Clan is up to the northeast, and they are on the kind of plains, highlands area, and they have mostly rabbits and stuff that they eat. And then up past Shadow Clan and Wind Clan's camps is the High Stones, which is where the cats go when they need guidance from Star Clan. And then all of the clans are set up to have a leader whose name ends in Star. They go to the High Stones to commune with Star Clan when they get chosen, and they get 9 lives. And then they have a deputy, so that's like the second in command, mostly in charge of like the warriors. They have a medicine cat, which obviously is to heal. Then they have all of the warriors, and they have the warriors' apprentices. Not all the warriors have apprentices at the same time. All of the apprentices are 6 months old or older until they become a warrior. Then they have the queens, which are cats who are expecting to have kittens or are nursing them. If they are not expecting kittens or nursing, then they're warriors. They have the elders, which are just the old people, the old cat, and they also have a list of the outside cats, and that's just like any of the cats that are not a part of the clans necessarily. Either they were kicked out, or they're a house cat, or just a cat that lives on their own. And I think that pretty much covers everything. So there might be some repeat information, but other than that, I think that this is clear enough that we can get to our recap. Alright, I'm gonna kind of just go chapter by chapter, and I'll say my thoughts sometimes, but I'm just gonna be letting you know what happened in the book, and we're gonna begin with the prologue. There is a very big fight for ThunderClan in the beginning of the book, and they lose. They lose part of their territory to River Clan, and Tiger Claw is not very happy about it. And they get back to camp and they report to Blue Star, and she's worried about the clan becoming weak from too few members. And Spotted Leaf gets a message from Star Clan that fire will save the clan. Who wants to know what that means? Well, I'm sure we'll find out eventually. I don't think we find out in this book. That's okay. Chapter 1. This is where we meet Rusty, our main character. He is a house cat. He dreams about catching mice but he lives as a house cat. I don't think mice hang out in his garden much, so I guess he doesn't ever catch any. After he wakes up in the morning, he decides to go take a look at the woods outside of his garden, and his buddy Smudge, who's his neighbor, tells him that it's dangerous in the woods because there are scary warrior cats, and they're going to attack him if he goes there. But he's like, nah, it's fine. I'm just gonna go look around. While he's in the woods, he tries to catch a mouse, and he misses. Oops, not a very good cat, I guess. Then he's attacked by Greypaw. He fights for his life, but then it turns out that Greypaw's actually not gonna hurt him, so it was fine. Greypaw explains the clans, and Rusty is like, oh, that's kind of cool. I want to know more. But then Blue Star shows up, and she has Lionheart with her, and they were watching the boys. And she says that she was impressed by Rusty's sharp eyes and that he fought well and that he would have caught the mouse if he hadn't hesitated. Understandable, it was his first time trying to catch a mouse. After being flattered, the silly goose, Rusty, just sticks his foot in his mouth and insults Blue Star and her clan by assuming that they have plenty of food to go around, because he's like, oh, it's fine, I could totally come catch a mouse in your territory, you've got plenty of food. And she's like, no, that's rude. Chapter 2, Rusty apologizes to Blue Star and she offers him a place in ThunderClan, and the incentives for that are that he will remain a Tom, which he's really confused what that means, and he will love the freedom. He says he'll think about it. And then he goes home. Chapter 3, Rusty decides that he does want to go join ThunderClan. And so he has a little party with his friends, and then he leaves and he goes to look for Lionheart in the woods. And when he finds Lionheart, White Storm is also there with him. And White Storm is a senior warrior. He's a big, important boy. They test Rusty on the way to camp by basically running as fast as they can and hoping that he stays caught up with them, and he barely keeps up, but they're impressed anyway. It notes all the time how strong the warrior clan cats are, like their muscles are rippling and they're really fit and stuff, and he's kind of like a cushy little house cat who doesn't get much exercise, and so they're impressed that this cushy little house cat can keep up with him. When he gets there, Blue Star announces him to the clan, and Longtail gets mad and says, no, this kitty pet is dumb and I don't want him here, basically. And Lionheart tells Rusty to defend his honor. So he fights Longtail, and they're both injured, but Rusty gets approval from the clan when his collar snaps, because it's like a sign from StarClan that he's meant to be there, because he lost the identifying marker that he is a kitty pet. And then Blue Star renames him Firepaw because he looks like fire. Probably is my guess, because he's orange. I forgot to mention that. Rusty's orange-ish. He looks like fire in the sunlight. And then Ravenpaw comes running into camp to announce that Redtail is dead. And I forgot about Redtail. When I started reading this book, I was like, oh yeah. Oh, I can't tell you that part yet. I'll tell you in a second. Okay, so chapter 4. RiverClan gets caught on ThunderClan land and Redtail threatens them. Oh yeah, so it's talking about a little flashback for what happened. Oakheart kills Redtail, and Tigerclaw kills Oakheart. Oakheart is the RiverClan deputy, so he's very important, and once he dies, RiverClan leaves, probably taking him with them. Firepaw gets a tour of the camp afterwards and chats with the elders before tasting his first mouse. He was very excited about it, and I guess it was tasty. Lionheart was named the new deputy. I totally forgot about Redtail and was like, yeah, Lionheart's the deputy. No, Lionheart was not the deputy until chapter 4. And Firepaw meets Sandpaw, which is another apprentice, before bed. She's very grumpy. She doesn't like him because several of the other cats are not fans of kitty pets. So, chapter 5. Firepaw goes out with Greypaw, Tigerclaw, and Lionheart. And Lionheart is Greypaw's mentor, and Tigerclaw is Ravenpaw's mentor, and Firepaw's just kind of everybody's apprentice, I guess, at the moment. He doesn't get assigned anybody for a while. So he learns that the clans meet every full moon under a truce, which is tonight, and Sandpaw and Dustpaw get to go to the meeting today. Then the next day, he and Graypaw and Ravenpaw practice their hunting crouch, and Firepaw catches his first mouse. Good job, Firepaw. I will probably be referring to Graypaw, Ravenpaw, and Firepaw as the boys because they're together a lot. They're buddies, and I get tired of saying their names all the time. Chapter 6, Firepaw and Graypaw goof off and go hunting. And while they're wandering around the territory looking for stuff to hunt, they get to the road that's like on the border of their territory over by Shadow Clan's side of their territory, and Firepaw goes and just boops the Thunder Path, so that's fun. Chapter 7, one of my favorite chapters, because Firepaw meets Yellowfang. She's my favorite. She is my queen. Literally, she is a queen because that's what female cats are called. She's really grumpy though, and I forgot about that, but that's okay. I still love her. They get into a fight because she is not a part of ThunderClan, and so he's like, get out of here, and she's old, so she loses. Also, she's already kind of injured and not doing well, so she didn't have the strength to fight him off. But then he feels bad that he beat her up, and he goes and catches her a rabbit. He also eats some of the rabbit, and at the time that he meets her, he was supposed to be out hunting for the clan, and the rule is that you always bring back food for the clan before you get to eat. But he was really hungry, so he ate some of the rabbit that he gave her, and he got in big trouble for that. So he and Yellowfang are escorted back to camp, and it turns out that she is the former Shadow Clan medicine cat, so she actually was technically their enemy. But Blue Star announces that Shadow Clan forced Wind Clan off their territory, so an entire clan is now gone from the forest. And Firepaw gets assigned as Blue Star's apprentice, which is a really big honor. She apparently normally only has the deputy's kids as her apprentices, but because he ate a rabbit when he wasn't supposed to, his punishment is to care for Yellowfang, and she's really grumpy, so I guess that's a bad thing. So chapter 9, Firepaw cares for Yellowfang while the clan prepares for an attack from Shadow Clan, because they assume that if Shadow Clan is going after Wind Clan, then they're probably going to go after the other ones because they want to steal all the food from everybody else. So they're getting ready to be attacked. And it seems like there's hints that Yellowfang had a kit and something bad happened to it. She was a warrior before becoming a medicine cat, and medicine cats don't have babies. So she had the ability to have kids before she became a medicine cat, but it's unclear if she did or if she just became a medicine cat before she had the chance. Also, there's big hints throughout this book that Firepaw likes Spotted Leaf, and Spotted Leaf is the ThunderClan medicine cat, which means she's not gonna have any kids, and that's really unfortunate for Firepaw, but it is what it is. Then Firepaw is tired from taking care of Yellowfang all the time, and Graypaw's like, oh, it's fine, I'll go feed her for you. And he grabs 2 mice and he wanders over, but Tiger Claw catches him and is like, what are you doing with those mice? And Graypaw's like, I was just really hungry. I'm gonna eat these. And he had already had like 2 mice, so he was already not hungry, but then he has to sit there and eat those 2 mice in front of Tiger Claw so he wouldn't get Firepaw in trouble, and he basically is like almost puking because he had too much to eat. But hey, it's true friendship to stuff yourself with food to defend your friend. Gotta love Graypaw. Chapter 10, Yellowfang is nice to Firepaw for the first time, and he's been caring for her for at least a month at this point, I think. So I think she might be becoming a little bit fond of Firepaw, which is good because I like her. So Firepaw heads out on a test to see how his hunting skills are with Graypaw and Ravenpaw. The boys are back on the training. He's back on the training. He hasn't been doing a lot of training because he's been taking care of Yellowfang. While he's out, Tiger Claw sends him to the area that's over by where his house was, and he meets his buddy Smudge, who got neutered in the last couple months. And Firepaw's like, so this is what Blue Star meant by I'll still be a Tom. He figures it out. Chapter 11, Tiger Claw was watching Firepaw while he was talking to Smudge. And he's in trouble. And then Ravenpaw is late back from their test, but because he was sent over by the snake rocks, he comes back with an adder, which is a very fast snake. So it's impressive. And then they head back to camp, and Blue Star is not super happy that he was talking to Smudge, and she really thinks that he's gonna ditch the clan and go back to being a house cat. But he's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I like it here, and I'm still a Tom, so that's way better than I would have been. And the boys did so well on their test that all three get to go to the gathering, because it's the full moon tonight. And Sandpaw and Dustpaw, which are the only other two apprentices at the moment, they get to stay behind. Neater. Chapter 12. The boys join several of the adults in the clan at the gathering. They wander around and listen to stories, and Ravenpaw even tells about his battle with River Clan at the beginning of the book. Yeah, well, so he says that Redtail killed Oakheart, not Tiger Claw, which means that somebody else killed Redtail. Doesn't look good. You know who the only other cat to notice that Ravenpaw was telling this story is? Tiger Claw. Yep. Who really killed Redtail? And why the heck is Ravenpaw so jumpy all the time? I don't know if I've mentioned that before, but he is so jumpy all the time. He's like acting all suspicious and scared all the time. Was he always like that? I don't know, because he's been jumpy since Firepaw showed up. But when Firepaw showed up is when the River Clan attack was. So could it be that he's only been jumpy since then? Maybe. I don't know. Also, Wind Clan never shows up to the meeting because they're gone. And Broken Star, which is Shadow Clan's leader, demands that all of the other clans, the other two clans, allow them to hunt in their territory, even though they literally have an entire extra territory. Like, Wind Clan is gone. They have a full extra territory to hunt in, and they're still like, we need more food. Stupid. River Clan actually lets Shadow Clan hunt on their land. I'm not sure that I remember the River Clan cats being like, I don't think we agree with that, but their leader is just kind of like, it's fine, you can do it, without even consulting his clan, which is rude. But Blue Star says she is going to talk to her clan about it. Supposedly Shadow Clan kids are starving or something, and that's Broken Star's excuse. Also, Broken Star tries to get Yellowfang killed because he says that she is a danger to kits and that she shouldn't be sheltered by the other clans. He doesn't specify that it's Yellowfang. He just says that there is a cat that they kicked out of their clan and she is dangerous to kits. But everybody in ThunderClan assumes it's Yellowfang, and it was. But so Firepaw leaves the meeting before everybody else in the clan leaves, and he goes to warn her and question if she's really a danger to kits because he likes her even though she's grumpy. So chapter 13, he talks to her and she decides to stay and trust that Blue Star is going to be fair. So Blue Star trusts Yellowfang and defends her and allows her to stay because she believes that what Broken Star was saying was a lie. And then she says that they're going to defend their territory against Shadow Clan. So she doesn't really discuss Broken Star's demand. She just is like, nah, we're not going to do it. We're going to protect our clan, and there's no discussion needed because you guys all agree with me. And then she also says that she's going to journey to the Moonstone to ask for strength and guidance from StarClan. So, luckily, the boys will be going with her, all three of them. But Ravenclaw got told off by Tigerclaw after the meeting, and it doesn't tell us about what. It just says that he's freaked out. Oh, and there's a cute moment between Firepaw and Spotted Leaf, and I need to go read it to you. Thanks, Spotted Leaf, mewed Firepaw. He leaned down and picked up one of the parcels. As he bent his head, Spotted Leaf stretched over and gently rubbed his cheek with her nose. Firepaw breathed in her sweet, warm scent and purred his thanks. They're always doing stuff like that, like, oh, you smell good and stuff. It's fine. Moving on to chapter 14, Blue Star, Tigerclaw, and the boys head for the Moonstone. They walk all day, and they had taken some herbs to help them stave off their hunger so they don't have to hunt for all day. Well, on their journey, they have to cross a road. Actually, the road that crosses through their territory. And Firepaw almost gets hit by a car because some insane person tries to run him over on the side of the road. He wasn't even on the road yet. Oh joy. And then after they all make it safely across the road, they eventually make it over to the cave and they wait for the moon to rise. And then chapter 15, Blue Star takes Tiger Claw and Firepaw into the cave, which it's weird for her to take Firepaw. I guess that's not a normal thing. But Graypaw and Ravenpaw stay outside to guard, I guess. Tiger Claw is a big scaredy cat, is freaked out the entire time they're going down, and as soon as the moon shines through the hole into the moonstone and makes everything bright, he runs away all the way back up to the surface. Big scaredy cat. I think that it's because he's a bad cat, because he's sketchy. But, that's probably just a theory. Firepaw stays and Blue Star sleeps. And when she wakes up, she warns them that they need to hurry back to camp. Chapter 16. On their way back, they meet Barley, and he is one of the couple of loners that lives around their territory. And he warns them about the dogs that the humans have nearby, which they passed on the way there, but they were tied up. He says that they let them loose at night to guard the property. So instead, they go around to avoid them, but they get attacked by rats, which are surprisingly feisty, and I'm not sure if it's in real life, if that's true, that they can do quite a lot of damage to a cat, but there were a lot of them, and Barley ends up rushing in to save them and pulls a bunch of rats off of Blue Star and Firepaw. And after being bitten by so many, Blue Star is severely injured and dies. Well, okay, she loses one of her 9 lives, so she dies, but she comes back to life. On the way back, after she gets all patched up, she tells Tiger Claw, because he asks her, that she's lost 5 lives, so she's only got 4 left, because she's got 9 lives. So she only has 4 left out of 9. A little bit weird that Tiger Claw was asking that, but maybe it's out of concern. Chapter 17. They get close to camp, and they can hear the sound of battle, and this is why Blue Star was told to go back to camp, because StarClan was like, hey, you guys are gonna get attacked. So they run inside, and Firepaw actually gets 2 Shadow Clan warriors to run away because he gets them good. And an elder who was defending the kits was killed. I don't remember if it mentions who, but Yellowfang came to their defense and kept them safe from Blackfoot. And Blackfoot is the deputy of ShadowClan. She keeps the kits safe from him. He was going to kill them. Or steal them. I think he was going to kill them. Lionheart, who is the current deputy of ThunderClan, is mortally wounded and dies after the battle. So Blue Star has to name a new deputy like a couple months after losing her other one, who had been deputy for quite a long time. And this time she chooses Tiger Claw, which he was very excited about. Really looking forward to it after Redtail died, and you could tell that he was kind of disappointed, but now he's the deputy, so it doesn't really matter. Now, I need to read you the lore that Ravenpaw tells us. Ravenpaw murmurs, "Oh no," under his breath, beside Firepaw. He turned to look curiously at his friend. Ravenpaw's head was hanging low. "She never should have chosen him," he muttered. "Are you talking about Tiger Claw?" Firepaw whispered. "He's wanted to be deputy ever since he took care of Redtail." "He took care of Redtail." Ravenpaw mewed. He stopped abruptly. "Took care of Redtail?" Firepaw echoed. His mind suddenly raced with questions. What did Ravenpaw know? At the gathering, had his account of the battle with RiverClan been true? Was Tiger Claw responsible for Redtail's death? Who's to say? Who's to say? Well, chapter 18. Tiger Claw overhears Ravenpaw talking to Firepaw. Whoops. Blue Star calls a meeting and officially invites Yellowfang to join the clan. Tiger Claw also hints that Ravenpaw is a traitor. Oh joy. Trying to get my little buddy kicked out of the clan, I guess. Yeah, I think he is trying to get rid of him so that they don't find out the truth about what he did. If we are to believe Ravenpaw's story. Maybe it's not true. Firepaw sneaks out to grab some garlic for the rat bites because they're bothering Graytail. Sorry, I was looking at my notes. Graypaw. But he ends up overhearing Tiger Claw talking to Darkstripe and Longtail, and he tells them officially that Ravenpaw is a traitor and he needs to go. So Firepaw's gonna go tell Blue Star what he heard. In chapter 19, Firepaw has his first training session with Blue Star and totally forgets about Ravenpaw and doesn't tell her. Chapter 20, actual fun. there's new kits in the camp. Guess we'll see if they all live. But Blue Star has a chat with Firepaw and confides that she actually lost her 7th life, which means she actually only has 2 more to go. And Firepaw does not tell her about Tiger Claw because he's feeling guilty that she needs to rely on Tiger Claw to protect the clan. He decides that he's going to save Ravenpaw himself. Back to the kits. Frostfur's kits go missing. They're just gone. And while the clan is searching, Spotted Leaf turns up dead. Yep, they killed my girl Spotted Leaf. So there goes that ship. No more Firepaw and Spotted Leaf, although I'm not sure they could have been together anyways. But they were so cute. Turns out a warrior killed her. Who thinks they know who that was? Well, the clan thinks it's Yellowfang, so take that as you will. Chapter 21, there's a big storm coming, and Blue Star orders everybody to wait till after the storm to search for Yellowfang. Then she pulls Firepaw aside and tells him to bring Yellowfang back himself so that they can find out the truth. And as he's leaving, he sees Ravenpaw get bit by one of the queens to keep him away from the kits, and he has an idea. He gathers Greypaw and Ravenpaw, and they take him to the edge of the territory closest to Barley, the loner. He tells Ravenpaw that if Tiger Claw asks about him, he'll say that Ravenpaw is dead, and they send Ravenpaw off to go live with Barley so that Tiger Claw can't kill him or get the clan to kick him out. He kind of just kicks himself out, I guess. Then Firepaw and Greypaw head off to look for Yellowfang. Chapter 22, they catch up to Yellowfang in Shadow Clan territory, and it turns out she was following the missing kit's scent and trying to get them back. She didn't even know Spotted Leaf was dead, so that's good. She tells the story of why she was kicked out of Shadow Clan, and I'm going to read that to you really quick. So Firepaw asks if Shadow Clan is going to harm kits, and she says, "Don't be so sure. Broken Star intends to use them as warriors. But they're only 3 moons old," Greypaw gasped. "That hasn't stopped him before. He's been training kits as young as 3 moons since he became leader. At 5 moons, he sends them out as warriors." "Surely they'd be too small to fight," Firepaw protested. Yellowfang hisses and says Broken Star doesn't care about that. He has plenty more kits to spare, and if they run out, they can steal them from other clans. Her voice was filled with rage. "After all, we're talking about a cat who killed kits from his own clan." Firepaw and Greypaw were stunned. "If he killed Shadow Clan's kits, why wasn't he punished?" Firepaw asked at last. "Because he lied," growled Yellowfang. Bitterness made her voice hard. "He accused me of their murder, and Shadow Clan believed him." Firepaw suddenly understood. "Is that why you were driven out of Shadow Clan? You've come back. You have to come back with us and tell this to Blue Star." So that whole "she's a danger to kits" was because he lied, and she's not. He just pinned it on her so that he wouldn't get in trouble for killing his own clan's babies. Nice. So while they're chatting, they smell the ThunderClan patrol that's out coming to rescue the kits, and they hide so that they can keep Yellowfang safe. Chapter 23, the boys, which are now just Greypaw and Firepaw, unfortunate. And they and Yellowfang hatch a plan. She's going to go get her friends from Shadow Clan to help rescue the kits, and Firepaw's going to convince the ThunderClan patrol to help too. Thankfully, Blue Star was smart, and she kept Tiger Claw in camp so that the patrol was easy for Firepaw to convince to help because he wasn't there. Thank goodness. Yellowfang comes back with her friends, and they tell the ThunderClan cats about how terrible Broken Star has been as a leader. Not many of Shadow Clan are loyal to him, and if they think that he's going to lose the fight, they'll turn on him and kick him out. He's been getting their kids killed, and that's not forgivable, probably for anybody. So, Yellowfang has a plan. She says that she will be led as a prisoner into camp to draw out all the warriors, and then she will signal ThunderClan to attack once everybody is out. Chapter 24, they get to the Shadow Clan camp, and, well, a fight breaks out because that was the whole point. The ThunderClan cats race in to help, and most of the Shadow Clan cats just kind of sit there and watch everybody else fight because they're too tired and hungry to do anything, and aren't super invested in protecting Broken Star, I would guess. Yellowfang faces Broken Star, and he admits to killing his father, Ragged Star, who was the previous leader of Shadow Clan. Everybody had assumed that it was just like an enemy patrol that had killed him, one of the other clans, but it wasn't. He was his own son. She also gets him to admit that the kit's death that he had pinned on her was actually his fault. He was out training them to fight, and they died because he was too rough with them, and they were tiny babies. At this point, Firepaw pulls Broken Star off of Yellowfang, and the rest of the clan turns on him and drives him out, and as well as his warriors who were loyal to him. The kits of ThunderClan are rescued, and one is particularly singled out and described as gray like embers. Remember that for book 2. Apparently it's important. Yellowfang decides to go back with ThunderClan and help them because they're going to need a medicine cat. Chapter 25. The last chapter. Back at the ThunderClan camp, Firepaw defends Yellowfang's honor, and Blue Star actually invites her to be their medicine cat. My queen is safe, I think. I don't know. Blue Star trusts her, so does Firepaw. I think in general the clan trusts her. Hopefully she's gonna be good now. Then Firepaw announces to the whole clan that Ravenpaw is dead, but he wants to tell Blue Star the truth later. After that, Blue Star announces that Firepaw and Graypaw have earned warrior status. Funny, that's before Sandpaw and Dustpaw, and they're older than them, but it's fine. It's because they participated in the battle and they proved themselves. She gives them their new names, and that is still my favorite part of reading these books because it's so fun to see their names. These ones I already knew what they were going to be, but I like to sit there and be like, okay, cover the book. You can't see the names before it's time to read them because otherwise I'll go skip down the page and see them before it's time. But their new names are Gray Stripe and Fireheart. Very exciting. And they are instructed to guard the camp until sunrise, and they're not allowed to talk. Good luck with that. And the book ends with Fireheart determined to make Tiger Claw's treachery known. He's going to tell Blue Star because he thinks that Tiger Claw is dangerous, so might as well expose him. Well, that is the end. I will be doing book 2 sometime. I think I'm going to post twice a month. I'll do a Warriors book until I run out of Warriors books and some other book. And let me know if you think I should draw more of these cats with my dumb drawings or if I should use the ones from the wiki because I only drew 3 of them this time. So I could draw more, but I could also just use the wiki pictures, which are a lot better than mine. So let me know. And if you have any book requests, I can attempt to get them if you want. But right now I'm probably just going to stick with the books that I have. So good luck guessing which ones they are. Okay, I hope that you enjoyed this video and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.